Welcome back to another video here on YouTube. Your host, White Stoner here, going to do the 2003 DVD collection. So let's get into this. Here we have Royal Rumble 2003. Triple H on the cover. In the ring. Scott Steiner. Kurt Angle. And Brock Lesnar. If I'm correct, that's supposed to be Kane, part of Kane right there. Big Show versus Brock Lesnar. Winner advances to Royal Rumble, and Brock Lesnar would win and advance to the Rumble. Lance Storm and William Regal versus Dudley Boys. Tori Wilson versus Dawn Marie in the first ever stepdaughter for stepmother match. Triple H versus Scott Steiner. Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit in a fantastic WWE Championship match. And then there are your contestants for the Rumble. And then Brock Lesnar would go on and win this one. The first time I watched it, I thought Undertaker was going to win. But then that was silly because he won a 2007 Rumble. But it would have been interesting if Undertaker won this one instead of Brock Lesnar. Next, we have No Way Out 2003. The rematch. The Rock vs. Hogan 2. Stone Cold vs. Eric Bischoff. And then Triple H vs. Scott Steiner 2. I think The Rock versus Hogan here was the main event, which should have been at WrestleMania. And then Triple H and Scott Steiner was the match before The Rock and Hogan. Your 2003 Spine. Chris Jericho versus Jeff Hardy. Billy Kidman versus Matt Hardy. 6-man tag team. Brock Lesnar, Chris Benoit, and Edge. Oh, that's a weird pairing. Versus Kurt Angle, Shelton Benjamin, and Charlie Haas. Best known as the world's greatest tag team. And then Undertaker versus Big Show. A decent cover, I guess. Next, we have WrestleMania 19. Some say this is one of the greatest. Others, like the DVD Freak, say this is his favorite. This WrestleMania, I would put probably either my between fourth and sixth favorite in that category. But nothing better than a great cover with Hogan staring down Vince McMahon. Rey Mysterio versus Matt Hardy, and Rey Mysterio came out as the Flash. It was in this one, I think. Undertaker and Nathan Jones versus Big Show and A-Train. It ended up being a handicap match with Undertaker. My problem with that was Undertaker should always be mid-card, if not last at WrestleMania, always. Him having a first or second match, I don't like that. I like to wait for him longer in the pay-per-view, and instead of seeing him right away. We had a fantastic match between Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho. This was Shawn Michaels' first WrestleMania back since returning from his back injury. Triple H versus Booker T. Hogan versus McMahon. And Stone Cold versus The Rock. Stone Cold's very last match. The Rock finally beat Stone Cold, and Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar in the main event, as Brock Lesnar almost breaks his own damn neck in this match, and then Kurt Angle did actually break his neck again in this match. If Brock Lesnar's going to do a shooting star press, make sure he hits it right. Next we have Backlash 2003. A decent cover. They basically wanted to sell point the main event. The main event was alright. Goldberg's had better matches. Rey Mysterio vs. Big Show. Rikishi vs. Sean O'Haire. Trish Stratus vs. Jazz. And then Jazz would become women's champion. Jazz wasn't one of my favorites, but I did like how she became women's champion. RVD and Kane versus Dudley Boys. And then John Cena getting his first ever WWE Championship match. And then The Rock versus Goldberg. Next we have Insurrection. This one's a weird one. This one was supposed to be King of the Ring, but they changed it to Insurrection. So you have Trish Stratus, Triple H, Stacy Keibler, Shawn Michaels, Booker T, Scott Steiner, and RVD on the cover. Oh, Stone Cold and Eric Bischoff on the cover. So this is just a regular spine here. Rikishi versus Goldust. Jazz versus Trish Stratus in their rematch. Scott Steiner versus Test with Val Venus as a special referee. And then Stacy Keibler was a guest ring announcer. RVD and Caden versus La Resistance for the World Tag Team titles. And then Triple H versus Kevin Nash for the World Heavyweight Championship. Next we have Judgment Day. Challenger versus World Champion. Kevin Nash versus Triple H, and then Big Show versus Brock Lesnar in a stretcher match. Let's see. Chris Benoit, Rhino, and Spanky versus FBI and John Cena. I think Spanky was Brian Kendrick. Scott Steiner and Test versus La Resistance. Team Angle versus Eddie Guerrero and Tajiri. Tori Wilson versus Sable in a bikini challenge. Mr. America versus Rowdy Piper. Trish Stratus versus Jacqueline versus Victoria versus Jazz in a fatal four-way match for the Women's Championship. And look at all those extras you get. This Judgment Day was a harder one for me to find for some reason. I don't know why. Next we have Bad Blood 2003. Kevin Nash versus Triple H in the Hell in a Cell match. A decent cover. Let's see. Dudley Boys versus Roddy Mack and Christopher Nowski. Scott Steiner versus Test. Winner gets Sable's managerial service. Christian versus Booker T for the Intercontinental title. Goldberg vs. Jericho, Shawn Michaels vs. Ric Flair, and then a redneck triathlon. I don't know. Stone Cold vs. Eric Bischoff, and then Triple H vs. Kevin Nash in the Hell in a Cell with Mick Foley as the special guest referee. Next, we have Vengeance 2003 with Undertaker on the cover, and that is so cool. The World's Greatest Tag Team versus Billy Kidman and Rey Mysterio, Stephanie versus Sable, Chris Benoit versus Eddie for the finals in the U.S. Championship. We get Undertaker versus John Cena here. It was better than WrestleMania 35, I can tell you that. No, 34, my bad. 34. 35 has just happened, that's why I said it. Zach Gowen versus Mr. McMahon, and then Brock Lesnar versus Big Show versus Kurt Angle in a triple threat match. Next we have SummerSlam with Sable on the cover. And how much more interesting can that get? Zach Gowen versus Matt Hardy, Eddie Guerrero versus Chris Benoit versus Rhino versus Tajiri in the Fatal 4-Way for the U.S. Championship. Shane McMahon versus Eric Bischoff, Undertaker versus A-Train, Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. And then Elimination Chamber match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Triple H, Randy Orton, Chris Jericho, Goldberg, Michaels, and Kevin Nash. I think, I might be wrong. I think Goldberg won the Elimination Chamber here. Either him or Triple H, one of the two. Next we have Unforgiven 2003 with a really cool cover of Kane. JR and the King versus Coach and Al Snow, Jericho versus Christian versus RVD, Shawn Michaels versus Randy Orton, Legend versus Legend Killer match. Shane McMahon versus Kane in the Last Man Standing match, as you can see there. And then Triple H versus Goldberg. If Goldberg loses, he leaves WWE. Triple H cannot lose the title. Triple H can lose the title by DQ or countout. Next we have No Mercy 2003 with your average Brock Lesnar cover. I think that one's on his first Brock Lesnar Here Comes the Pain, I think. Almost looks like him trying to F5 the Rock at SummerSlam. Zach Gowen versus Matt Hardy, APA versus Basham Brothers. Wasn't too much of a fan of them. Chris Benoit versus A-Train. Eddie Guerrero versus Big Show for the U.S. Championship. Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar in the first ever biker chain match. That one was... It was different, so that's what made it interesting. I've always liked the No Mercy DVD covers on the discs. Next we have Survival Series. Survival Series is one of my favorite pay-per-views because of the elimination match. A Fall from Grace. Shane McMahon doing his patented elbow drop. Back then I wasn't much of a Shane fan, but I do like him now. But the colors in this, I do like. It looks so cool. Let's see. Basham Brothers versus Los Guerreros. Tajiri versus Jamie Noble. Molly Holly versus Lita. And then our first classic Survivor Series match was Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit, Hardcore Holly, Bradshaw, and John Cena versus Brock Lesnar, Big Show, Nathan Jones, Matt Morgan, and A-Train. And then our second one was Shawn Michaels, Booker T, RVD, Bubba Ray, Devon versus Chris Jericho, Christian, Scott Steiner, Mark Henry, and Randy Orton. Shane McMahon versus Kane in the finale ambulance match. Undertaker versus Vince McMahon in a great Buried Alive match. And then Kane would come out and bury Undertaker. And then that's basically how their WrestleMania 20 match started. Goldberg versus Triple H for the World Championship. It all comes down to this. Surprisingly, this is the only one that I got with an insert, which is weird. And our last 2003 pay-per-view is Armageddon Evolution of the Game. Triple H on the cover. It's cool. It is. Let's see. Trish Stratus and Lita versus Chris Jericho and Christian. That match was kind of dumb. Booker T versus Mark Henry. RVD versus Randy Orton with Mick Foley as a special guest referee. Shawn Michaels versus Batista. Excuse me. Kane versus Goldberg versus Triple H for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think... No, this isn't the one. Okay. Wait, it might be. No, it's not. Okay. I thought this was the one where Evolution walked out with all the titles. If it is, let me know in the comments below, because I forgot. So there you have it. There is the 2003 DVD collection. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. You gotta like it. Because tomorrow will be the 2004 DVD collection. So this is White Stoner signing off.